Hi, this is Amy. I don't plan on making this super public, so I'm not even gonna bother with like editing and stuff. So to crochet, you're gonna obviously need a crocheting hook or crochet needle. That's what I call them. Honestly, I have a ton. The size of the needle really does matter, actually. We've got like these huge needles that's for like really big yarn and stuff like that. We've got itty bitty teeny tiny. This is literally super teeny tiny. It doesn't look that way because I've got it super close to the camera, but it is very tiny. This is in comparison to my finger. It's very tiny. That's for like delicate lacework and stuff. For typical yarn, I use this. It is my favorite crocheting hook ever. The size is I9 or 5.5 millimeters. Not sure if you can see that, but that's the size I use for like everything. Um, Typically I use red heart yarn, mainly because it's cheap and I like it. Um, I've done a couple of really cool things, and I think I lost the edge of my screen. No, there it is. I've done a couple cool things with red heart yarn. I just find that it's really easy to work with, and I can use my favorite crocheting hook for it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get started, and I don't know how much you know, so I'm just going to start with the basics. So you take your string, your yarn or whatever, and you just kind of hoop it over like this. So you've got it crossed right there. So you have a nice little hoop. You want the hoop to face kind of this way. So that way when you grab the rest of the string, excuse me, you just sort of pull it through and it creates a knot. Again, you make a loop, and then you face it this way. You'll reach your fingers in, grab the string, and pull. And that's how you get started crocheting, which it looks kind of weird, and I'm not sure I did a good job showing it, but that's how it's done. Once you have your little hoop and the little knot, you're going to want to take your crocheting hook and stick it just right on through, and close the yarn around the hook. As you get along, you'll kind of get a feel for what kind of pressure you like. I'm usually very taut with my stitches. So once you have this in there, you can get started with the single crochet. And the single crochet is literally you take your yarn and your hook, you wrap the yarn around the hook, and you grab the yarn with this bit. So it should end up looking like this, and you'll just pull it straight through. And that's it. I made it sound complicated. It's really not. Just wrap it around and pull it through. I'm going to try and show it to you this way. You wrap it around and you pull it through. And this is the single crochet. It's really simple. It's really easy. I actually learned how to do this on my fingers first, but then it made learning with the hook that much harder. So I'm not going to do that to you. And you just kind of keep doing that, and that's the single crochet. Now, this is the base, basically, of your scarf. If you noticed in the picture I sent you, well, I'll show it to you later. But this is the base, and you'll see why I say so in a moment. So I'm just going to do a few more of these. It'll make things easier. And I think that's enough. It's just going to be a little thing. Now, this is the base. Excuse me, need to be able to show it. There you go. This is the base. You're going to want to build up from here. So now I'm going to show you the double crochet now that you've got the single crochet down, and you can take the first part of this video and loop it however many times you need. But this is literally the base of everything you'll ever make is the single crochet. Once you've got that down and you've got this hair that Alma is going to say eat, eat this. What you're going to want is you're going to want to start on the double crochet. Now what you're going to do is, so I've stopped right here. This is the last one. So I'm going to put my fingers there just to mark where it is. Then I'm going to do 3 single crochets. Hook it once, 1, hook it twice, 2, hook it thrice, 3. And sometimes you'll lose your needle. You just put it right back in there. There you go. So now you've got 1, 2, 3. So now you've got 1, 2, 3 back. I'm going to go to the fourth one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is where it starts getting tricky. Kind of like the single crochet, you're going to wrap the yarn around your hook, but instead of just pulling it through, we're going to go back a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, and in this fourth one, we're going to stick the hook in there. It doesn't look all, I'm sorry. You stick, ugh. So we wrap the yarn around the hook, wrap it. We count back, 1, 2, 3, and we go to this fourth one over here. We stick the pointy end of the hook inside that stitch. So it should look, if I can keep this straight, it should look like that. There's 3 things on your hook right now. Once you have that stuck in, you're going to wrap even more yarn around your hook. You're going to grab it and you'll pull it through. So now you've got 3 little loops on your crocheting needle. What you're going to do is the same thing we've been doing before, which is wrap more yarn around your hook and pull it through. So here's pulling it through 1 stitch, 1 loop, and then you're going to pull it through 2 loops. So it looks a little bit like this. Now you've got 2 little loops on your hook. And same thing as before, we're going to take the yarn, wrap even more yarn around the hook, and this time we're pulling it all the way through. So now it'll look like that. So these are the 3 single crochets, and that's just to get the height. And then this is the double crochet, which I made it sound really complicated. It's not, but it is really hard to master at first. But once you've got it, then you've got it. And the first one's always the hardest. So now that you've got this one, you don't have to count 3 anymore because you've already got the height. And you'll just wrap more yarn around it, stick the hook into the next thing, grab some more yarn, pull it through. Now you've got those three things. 1, 2, 3. Grab even more yarn, pull it through 2. So now you've got 1, 2. Grab even more yarn, pull it through. And you've just done another double crochet. And I'm going to just kind of do this for a moment. If I were editing, this is the part where I'd speed up my editing so that way you could see the magic of crocheting at a super fast pace and, you know, think it was super easy and not time consuming at all. I rag on it, but that's because I like doing it. La-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da. And sometimes your project will just get in the way while you're crocheting. You have to find your own way of dealing with it and like moving it out of the way. And most crocheting guides will tell you to like wrap the yarn around the pinky and do all these convoluted things, and soon it looks like a villainous maze of traps. I don't know why they do that. Okay, and sometimes your yarn will do stuff like this, where it's just tangled on itself. You just have to take a moment to undo that. Figure out how the yarn is twisting on itself this time so you can figure it out and let it go free in the wild. Aha, there you go. And then you just get right back to where you are. All right, and then this is the last one. So now you can see that the single crochets that I did earlier are on the bottom, and I've just put double crochets on top of it. And so you flip it around, and you go 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Oops, I don't think you actually saw that. Stick the crocheting needle back in. And so it's 1, pull through, 2, pull through, 3, pull through. And then we did what we did before, which is grab some yarn, hook it into the one from before, hook it in, grab some more yarn, pull it through. So you've got those 3. Pull it through 2. You've got 2. Pull it through 2. And then you've got another double crochet. But the reason why I wanted to go through the first one and then show you the second one is that way I can show you that it literally builds on top of itself. We've got the single crochet down here. It's way at the bottom. It's its base. And then we built 1 row of double crochet, and then you'd build another row of double crochet, and then on and on and on. So I would say single crochet the length of your scarf, so that way it looks like this when you wrap it around your neck. It's very pretty. I think it's pretty. People have different opinions on it all the time. Some people prefer to do it this way, so that way the scarf goes this way. It's up to you, honestly. But I would say get kind of familiar with this first. But once you got it, you got it. There's a couple little things that happen along the way. I wouldn't worry about that at this point. I think right now the main thing is just trying to get those 2 done. The single crochet, which is just wrap and pull, and the double crochet, which is wrap, stick it in, wrap, pull, which sounds really weird and out of context, but I hope that was helpful. And good luck, have fun crocheting, and let me know what you come up with. We can probably talk like patterns and designs later. Bye!